Hi, thank you for listening to With Miska. This is episode 2 with David Deery. And this episode, the whole thing will be in English. And David is someone who I met in Finland like a few years ago. He was in a Manala Comedy Club. I was one of the opening acts for him, and I saw him doing stand-up comedy there as an headliner. He was coming touring Scandinavia or something like that from Germany. And I looked at him and I was watching his set and I thought that, yeah, this guy is really good. He's American and he has a clear point of view. So why doesn't he have a show? Like a TV show, or he's going to have a TV show soon. So now when I finally met David here in Hollywood, I realized that now I can ask all these questions. So I talk with David about comedy, about his dreams, aspirations. He lives here in LA right now, and all that. My life has been pretty good. Since the last podcast, I directed my first feature film, a very, very low budget film called Stay Together, Kaverit. In Finnish, it's a Finnish found footage film, like a horror film. So we filmed most of the parts with iPhone. And I'm editing it with editor Vertti Virkajärvi and finishing the film. So that's exciting. We didn't have any money, but it was a really cool thing. And apart from everything else, we've been working, doing some commercials and music videos here with no office. I've been doing some open mic gigs. I'm talking about that for stand-up here in LA. And also sending my picture to many auditions. Also, I've gone to some auditions. Nothing major yet. I've done some small roles, but nothing major yet. So I'm working on it. So that's pretty much it. It's been very cold here in LA. As far as LA goes, it's been raining like almost every day for pretty much a month, which is weird. But that's all for now. So enjoy David Deery podcast. He's a real American stand-up comedian. And this is the second episode of With Miska.
Is it supposed to be funny or is it's a serious podcast?
Do we need to decide?
No. You tell me. It's your podcast.
I really wanted to
just go off the top.
Yeah, so let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Maybe I punch you in the face.
You said that you're tired.
I'm tired, yeah.
How come?
That life.
What life?
It's the hustle of Hollywood, And also having to have a job and...
You don't have a job?
No, I do have a job. That's what I'm saying. That makes me tired.
Yeah.
My job makes me tired. It's a very high-end job. Especially Saturday nights. Now they have me working. I don't want to work nights, but they have me working a Saturday nights now because they don't have anybody else that can handle it.
Yeah.
And it's a high-pressure job. I'm a pizza chef at like a high-end, fast. I make like 250 pizzas on a Saturday night. I'm the only guy in there, the only pizza chef, and it's just full on,
So it's high end. I didn't know that.
Well, high end for pizza.
Yeah, 800 degrees or something like that. Is it high end?
No, that's funny. No, high end means
okay. Yeah, cool. I wasn't even trying to be funny, but
that was very funny. No, high end is obviously like popular.
Yeah,
it's like fancy. It's a fancy pizza place that gets a lot of attention.
Do you have the tablecloth?
No, it's not like that. It's just a pizza place, but it's like, if you looked up, best slice of pizza in LA, it's probably on all those like stupid lists, and it's owned by a ex-professional skater. I don't want to give publicity to my fucking pizza place, man. Fuck them. But yeah, it's a hard job. Like my neck hurts from it's just physical. And it's mental as well. It's just like, I need 20 pizzas, I need a cheese, I need a pepperoni. What's going on, man? What's in the oven? And it's just like, there's like 30 people out the door, the phone's ringing, there's tickets flying. I got to make pizzas.
You're the only chef?
At that time, yeah. There's only one chef on duty. Sometimes there'll be like a second guy, like one of the delivery guys can do pizzas, but he doesn't work on Saturday nights,
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't really get a break. It's just a demanding job. And it takes a lot out of me mentally because it's weird. I'll be busting my ass and then I'll turn around and whoever's there's like a salad guy as well, and he'll be just sitting there because there's no salads to make, and he'll just be like looking at his phone, and I'll just be like, man, fuck this place. Why don't they have that? Why can't that guy also make pizzas? You know, if I owned a pizza place, everybody would have to know about pizzas, at least a little bit. It's a pizza place.
Yeah.
You know? All right, now I'm bitching about my job.
No, how long have you worked there?
I've been there a couple of years. I mean, I love it. I'm a food guy, you know?
Yeah.
I love making food. I do it at home, you know? Like if you look at my Twitter right now,
there's something about Trump. I know this.
Oh no, but there's a food tweet on there too, where I always like kind of tweet pictures of food and stuff like that I make, and I got a retweet from my favorite YouTube Chef John. I don't know if you know Chef John.
No,
he does a blog called Food Wishes, and he's just a cool dude. He's not like a pretentious, you know, food blogger. He's just a cool dude. He has a great voice, and his videos are really like fun. And he's got like thousands of videos, like everything, desserts and meats and souffles and cakes and stuff. And yeah, he's just a cool guy. I really like him. And I watch his videos just for like fun. And then I made a few of his recipes, and you know, he retweeted me. That's the world that we live in. That's so great.
Living the dream.
Yeah, living the dream.
So he retweeted your photo of his recipe.
Yeah, his recipe, basil ricotta gnocchi.
Okay, so you really enjoy making food.
Yeah, man. I would say that I'm like a pretty good home cook. Also, Bill Burr retweeted my pie crust. I made a pie crust a couple weeks ago, and you know, Bill Burr's got the YouTube video.
I know that he bakes. That's all I know.
Yeah, there's a YouTube video of Bill Burr making a pie crust that's like got like 1 million views on it. It's really funny. I've watched it a few times.
Yeah.
And so I made a pie crust, and I like tweeted at Bill Burr like, "Yeah, look, I'm so influenced by Bill Burr. I made a fucking pie crust." And then he retweeted it. And it was a good pie crust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know him?
No. I don't know him. I mean, I've said hi to him a few times, but I've done the Death Squad shows at the Comedy Store, and I've always hoped that he'd be like the secret guest, which he has done before, but he wasn't when I was on. So I've just seen him around. He was on Kill Tony once, you know. I helped work on Kill Tony, but you know, he's
Kill Tony at the Comedy Store.
At the Comedy Store, yeah. But I don't talk to people unless there's like a direct, like even when I've gigged with Joe Rogan, but I didn't really talk. I kind of just like, when do you want to go up? You know, how long do you want to do? Good to see you. I don't like try to like talk to people.
Should you talk to be more successful? Generally,
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I don't have a plan, but you know, I don't. I think it's kind of like if you have a plan to make it in Hollywood, and your plan is like, when I see Ryan Gosling, I'm going to talk to him. That's just so corny. Like, I don't know. Like, that's just kind of obvious, you know?
Yeah.
It'd be obvious if I was just talking to Bill Burr because he's Bill Burr.
Yeah.
And I'm a comic, you know? So I don't do that. I've seen pretty much everybody. Hannibal, Burris, Bill Burr, all my favorite comics have been around me at times. Eric Andre, Louis. But I just like, you know, I just watch them walk by me and go, oh, there's Louis. And I remember when I saw Louis, I was also at the Comedy Store hanging out, and he was doing these like kind of surprise shows where you could buy a ticket that day, $20 cash.
Yeah, I was in 2 of those.
Yeah, you went to a couple of those.
Yeah,
I went to a couple of those. The very first one was like insane because it popped up so fast, no one expected it. And all the comics showed up at the Comedy Store thinking, ooh, maybe I can just hang out in the back of the room and watch Louis. Or maybe it won't be sold out, or whatever it was. Everyone kind of had this dream. Because at the Comedy Store, you can hang out, as you know.
If you're a comedian.
If you're a comedian, you can hang out. It's great. It's very supportive of comedians. And so we were all there hanging out. And I was even thinking, like, I don't know, maybe I could, like, you know, stand on the side with the door guys and catch 10 minutes or whatever. But it was the opposite. It was like, no, they put even a velvet rope up, like, no comedians, nothing. Stay away. It's sold out. Stay away. So anyway, it was so busy that night on the patio and everyone hanging out. And I was just standing there with, like, the door guy at the back door. And there's no real secret way into the Comedy Store. You park in the back lot and you walk in. And suddenly I saw, like, I mean, there's, like, hundreds of comics hanging out. And everyone's kind of like, Louis, oh my God, Louis, talking about Louis. And then I saw him in the parking lot, and he had like a baseball cap on, and he just looked very focused. But he wasn't walking fast, and he wasn't walking slow, but he was walking with the purpose of not talking to anybody, and he was just looking ahead and just slowly, had a hat on, kind of down, but not too down. Very Jedi mind tricked. And I just saw him the whole time. I was like, oh, that's interesting. There's Louis. I wonder if anyone's going to talk to him or say hi to him. And no one even saw him. It was sick. He just casually just kind of walked by. He definitely did not look up, did not look around. He just straight focused, beelined it. Invisible.
Did he stay out after the show?
No, not at all. That was the only time I've seen him. I mean, I saw him also at the Improv one time, but he doesn't hang out with people. I mean, he doesn't like people taking his photo, and I don't think he likes talking to people after shows. I mean, I'm not talking for him. I don't know, but I could just tell he's on a mission. He wants to just do sets and get the fuck out of there and do the next set. So that's good for him. I wish I could do that many shows.
Yes,
half those shows.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that I noticed when I spoke at the poker night, that stage time in LA is a commodity.
For sure.
So really, all the comedians, including you, are just wishing to have some more stage time.
I mean, not all the comedians, but yes, all the comedians like me. I've been in LA for 2 years, so maybe if I was here 5 years and I was talking like that, I mean, then it would be an issue. But I don't know. I think there is a level up that you have to get to. It takes time for sure, but it's there. I mean, I see other friends of mine. When I first came here, there's certain people that I saw that were probably on the level that I'm at now, and now they're doing a lot more shows and getting a little baby TV spots and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think it's going to be possible. Maybe not, but
well, when I saw you in Manala in Finland, maybe 4 years ago, I thought that okay, he's American. He has a really, really clear point of view that he could have a sitcom.
Right.
Sitcom
I could have a shitcom for sure.
Yeah.
I could definitely have a shitcom. I'm gonna say I'm a shitcom actor. That's pretty good, man. That's actually we could make a funny sketch out of that.
Yeah.
Shitcom. Hello, I am from Finland. I am shitcom actor.
Yeah.
Huh? Do you mean sitcom? No, shitcom. I wanted to be very bad. Shitty. Shitcom. Shit comedy. Yeah, I mean, dude, there's so many American comics that are good, man. It's like probably a lot like skiing in Finland.
Yeah.
If a Finnish guy was over here skiing, American people might be like, "Damn, that guy is so fucking good, man. Holy shit, he must be on the Finnish Olympic team or something."
Yeah.
But nah. Probably everyone skis.
Well, yeah, many people do. Yeah, but I get your point.
Do you ski?
I can. I haven't done it for
Right.
many
You could probably
years.
ski better than the average American, just like I'm funnier than the average Finnish person.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean I have a shitcom.
Have you had anything close to having some kind of show?
Well, I mean, I've had ideas that people have liked, but I think part of having there's definitely steps in those process of having a TV show that a lot of people don't see. It's interesting. I mean, there's a lot of work that you have to do in between. That I'm not a college graduate. I didn't go to university or anything like that, and I don't have connections in Hollywood either. So, I could have the best idea in the world, but how do you execute it? How do you get it done if you don't have money? And even if you have money, fuck it. Let's just say you have money. How do you get it done? What do you do? Do you make a pilot? Do you just write it? And I don't have an agent. I don't have a manager. I don't have any connections. So what do? Do I just knock on Nickelodeon's door and be like, hey, I have this great kids show idea?
Yeah, I guess I would make a web series type of thing.
Right. Nowadays,
Try
you got to make a web
yeah.
series, yeah. But even if you make a web series, if you look at my YouTube, I mean, not tooting my own horn, but there's some all right stuff on there. There's a few cartoons that I like. I made a fake music video, and I have a lot of other videos that I just don't put up because I'm I don't know. I mean, these are good, but because I also do a show where I play videos in my show.
Okay,
that's what I do.
Like a live show here.
Yeah, I have a live show. Yeah.
So what videos do you play? YouTube videos.
Well, they're YouTube style videos. They're sketch videos, but I
Yeah.
don't put them on YouTube because I play them in my own show.
All right.
So I keep it live, you know. So it's like if I put them on YouTube, then everyone comes to my show and they're like, "Oh, I saw this video on YouTube."
All right.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But you know, I know it's kind of like a weird risk, and I mean, eventually I will put them on YouTube because people are like, "What? We'll put them on YouTube, and if they go viral, that's like everyone's first thought." But things don't just go viral. I mean, what if it doesn't go viral? Then you just have a video on YouTube and you look like an idiot. You're a guy with like 400 clicks on a YouTube video, you know? Like if you look at my Hausmeister Bolts video, it's like that German rap video that I made.
Okay.
Man, it's such a hit in Germany. And even in America, when I play it, people go crazy and they laugh and they think it's funny. But it's only got like 400 clicks on it because it just... If the right person in Germany would tweet that, I swear it would go off because literally everyone that I've showed that to that's German, they think it's the funniest fucking thing on the planet. But you know, that's the thing. There's a lot of steps in between in comedy and in anything really, where it's just like you need other people and you need to fit in. You're just a brick in the wall, you know? You're just another piece of the puzzle. Like I'm a guy with good ideas that can make people laugh, but I need the people that can get me in front of the people. I need the comedy clubs to book me, and I need managers and agents to like pitch me to television stations and producers to make stuff. And you know, I don't know if that's ever going to happen, to be honest with you.
But are you interested approaching agents?
Yeah. Do you know any agents? I mean, I don't know any agents. What do I just go knock on CAA's door? I mean, it's just a weird thing. I mean, everyone's interested in agents.
Yeah, I have an agent.
You have an agent?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he might be a shitty agent. Is he a good agent or a shitty agent?
Well, I have an audition tomorrow, and it's really big.
That's great.
I'm very happy, yeah.
Well, yeah, could you ask him if he's interested in representing me as well?
I can happily recommend you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Then you can meet if he wants to meet you.
That's the first opportunity like that I've had in this town. I haven't really asked a lot of people because I'm scared that it's like that's not a cool thing to do. I don't like to ask people. Like I don't like when people ask me, and I don't like... You know, people always ask me, "Oh man, how did you get that gig in Finland?"
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just like, well, I don't want to like fuck up my connections, you know? I don't want to say, "Oh, this is the guy that booked me," and then this person that I don't know that well goes to Finland and, you know, rapes a girl or whatever he does, and then that's on me, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I don't want to ask, like, I don't mind asking you because you know who I am.
Yeah.
But I don't want to ask Tony Hinchcliffe or... you know, Sam Tripoli or any of the comics that I know, hey, can you connect me to an agent? Because then that puts them on the spot, you know?
Yeah.
Because of course they can. They have agents, they have managers.
Yeah.
Of course they can introduce me, but do they want to? You know? It's a pretty big question. But then again, you know what they say, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
So...
Because I got him because someone recommended me to him, but I was asking around when I came here 10 years ago for the first time.
Yeah.
So I had a map and headshots and resumes, and I started going. I walked into agencies.
Okay.
So I got 2 agents who were not that
not that bad?
and not that good.
No, yeah.
I mean, they didn't make anything happen.
Yeah, that's
but
the
at
other
least,
thing. Yeah, I mean, people will take you. That's the problem. I mean, the other side of the coin is like, I don't want a bad agent. I'd rather have no agent than a bad agent, because a bad agent is. I mean, people will take you because obviously an agent gets paid when you get paid.
Yeah.
So people are like, oh yeah, and they just add you, even if they're really big agents. You know,
Yeah.
you can get a huge agent and just be the 60th guy on a list of people. So when they call and they're like, yeah, we need somebody funny, and they're like, okay, I could send you Jim Gaffigan or this guy you've never heard of. Let's go with Jim Gaffigan, right? And then you're kind of stuck. You don't want to be that guy. So yeah, it's tough.
do you like acting?
I love acting. Yeah, I do. I mean, I like acting. Yeah, I do actually like acting. I don't think I'm very good at it.
But you would do like acting roles and stuff.
Oh, for
the whole
sure.
thing,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I love it. And I love making sketches. And, you know, I've written a few short films. You know, I think I'm in a good situation, you know, to work with the right people, you know?
Yeah, I think so too.
I just got to get the right people, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think, you know, if I got plugged into the right stand-up circle, I think I'd fit right in. If I got plugged into the right...
What would it be?
Probably like more like Death Squad, you know, Ari Shaffir, Tom Segura, those types of people, you know, like someone like that. Like if like someone like that wanted to mentor me, even though I'm an older guy, I'm older, but I haven't
How
been
old
in
are
the
you?
game that long. I'm 43, but I've only been in stand-up 7 years. So
Really?
you know, a guy like Tom Segura or like someone like Bill Burr, I mean, they've been in the stand-up for like 20 years. So even though they're my age,
Yeah.
I still need someone like that. I mean, Chappelle's younger than me. That's crazy.
Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think he's younger than me. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure he's younger than me.
How did you start the stand-up?
I just like, I started stand-up because like, I was living in Berlin and I was in a band and I've always been into music and stuff. I was in a band, in a touring band, and we were doing like these radio interviews and I was like telling funny stories. I've always been just like a funny guy, you know, like class clown, you know. And so the guy at the radio station was like, after the show, we were talking, we went to get an ice cream. He was a super cool guy and he was just like, man, I can't believe how like funny you are. You should really like do some kind of comedy stuff. And I'd heard that like so much in my life that for the first time I just decided to like, I don't know what happened. I just kind of clicked and I was like, okay, what should I do? You tell me. Like, what does that mean? Do some comedy stuff.
Yeah.
Because especially like back in the day when I was a kid, guys told me like, you know, I remember I got fired from a job. A guy was like, you know what? You should be a comedian. You should be a comedian. You'll make it as a comedian. But I didn't know even how to start being a comedian.
Yeah.
Because I was a kid, you know?
And where
This
were
is
you?
the 90s.
Where?
I was living in the suburbs of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I mean, what was I going to do? Like, go to, like, I don't even know what comedy club was big in Philadelphia
Yeah.
in the 90s.
And then you had another
Comedy
job.
wasn't that big in the 90s, you know?
So what did you do after that? Like,
Well, I was skateboarding, and I was like, I just hitchhiked around the country. I was into skateboarding. I was into punk rock. I followed the Grateful Dead. I just did kid shit, you know? I just, like, traveled a lot and just skateboarded.
did you have sponsors or anything?
No, nothing. No, just living in a sleeping bag. Just sleeping in the parks and...
Really?
Yeah.
For how long?
for like 3 years.
So how was that? Drugs?
That was amazing. Yeah, tons of drugs. Well, no, not really. In the beginning, drugs, but then no drugs. That's kind of what set me off. I mean, it's a long story. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a super long story.
Well, you can tell me.
I mean, I'll give you the quick overview. I should do a bunch of different podcasts and just focus on like one thing per podcast.
Yeah.
But I just did Steve Simone's Good Times podcast, and I talked for 2 hours. What's that noise, by the way?
Oh, that's the church bells.
Oh, church bells. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's noon.
Praise Jesus.
Yes.
Happy
Jesus
MLK
here.
Day. Yeah, I just did Steve Simone's podcast, and at one point he just goes, all right, that was 2 hours, dude. And I was still going, you know? I was just blah, 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 blah. And I was going from this point to that point to this point to that point. So let's focus first on how I got started in the stand-up. I think
Okay,
that's a good
and
story.
before you start, I think you want to hold the mic. You don't want to hold it there.
Oh.
It gives a little bit of noise.
Oh, okay.
Not much.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's, as long as you just hold
I
the
see. Because
mic.
if I move the cable, it kind of...
Yeah.
Okay, makes noise.
There's no problems, but it's just better.
All right, you're going to have to edit that out. I don't like it. Anyway.
Yeah. So
I do
what-
know how to hold a mic. I swear to God, I know how to hold a mic. I've been doing this for a few years. So yeah, just long story short, when I was like 16 and 17,
Yeah.
I got into eating psychedelics, you know, LSD. I was smoking weed. I was going to Grateful Dead shows, and it just blew my mind, you know, wide open. And I just wanted to live that, you know, electric Kool-Aid acid test, Jack Kerouac, the Merry Pranksters, the Grateful Dead, Bill
Yeah.
Graham, 60s psychedelic. I wanted to live that life, you know, on the road, easy rider, those types of influences. So I literally hitchhiked across the country with a friend and went to some hippie festivals and went to see the Grateful Dead. And, you know, I did that for a few years. And, you know, then I lived then I lived in San Francisco and you know, and I was into a bunch of different things. I've always been into music. I was into graffiti. I was just, you know, heavily into this like alternative lifestyle. Never finished high school, never went to university. I've just always never really had a full-time job. I've just been kind of like a true beatnik, I would say, you know, living this kind of like life of like, what's going to happen tomorrow? I don't care. What's going to happen today is I'm not going to fucking work for the man. That was pretty much my life.
Yeah.
And then, so I was living in Berlin, you know, so that's what took me to Berlin as well, all that shit, the music and all that shit. So I was living in Berlin, working at this ping pong bar a couple times a week.
Before we go to Berlin, but I just want to... Doesn't it get like tiring?
Yeah.
That
Doesn't
kind of
everything get tiring? Sure.
Yeah, everything does.
Yeah. Same thing. Yeah, some days you wake up and you don't want to fucking live in a squat that leaks, you know, with a bunch of drug-addicted punk rock kids.
Is there party all the time?
I mean, party. I mean...
Drugs, alcohol.
Yeah, but it's not a party. It's just, that's maintenance, you know? When you live with, like, heroin addicts, it's not, that's a different level of party, you know? Because it's not fun. It's just like, it's work. It's like, I got to get this heroin to, like... Yeah. That's what it was, so... Yeah, I lived in a squat in San Francisco for a while with, like, one room was alcoholic kids. That's who I lived with. And then the next room was heroin addicts. And then there was another room in the back of the house that was speed freaks. And that was pretty wild. And the dude who owned the house, like, let us live there. It was just like a beat-up, old, dilapidated house that, I don't know, there was a guy that owned it that, I don't know, for some odd reason didn't want to fix it up. I don't know much about the owner, but we were cool to live there. And so, yeah, I lived there with a bunch of alcoholic kids. And I was like pretty clean at the time. I didn't do any drugs or drink. So that was kind of a crazy
So how
life.
did you use your time?
I skateboarded. Every day I would skateboard and just, you know, skateboarding and just hanging out, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of skateboarding, though. This is the 90s San Francisco. This is when skateboarding was like, you know, what stand-up comedy is today, skateboarding in San Francisco was in the 90s. It was just full-on scene. And there was, like, professional... skateboarders, there's spots, and you could just go to the spots every day and hang out and see amazing skateboarding and I mean there was like lots and lots and lots of spots. It wasn't just like, yeah, go down to the skate park and everyone's going to be hanging out. There was about 40 or 50 different spots, and you could go to any one of them and there'd be people skateboarding there, and you'd be like, oh cool, who are these guys? And people would be visiting from out of town. And I have lots of friends from that era and lots of friends who made it in skateboarding from that era. So it's, you know, it was a good time. It was an exciting time, you know, to be in San Francisco.
Yeah. And then to Berlin.
Yeah, so I was living in Berlin doing music stuff. I was in a band at the time.
Like sing?
I was playing bass and writing all the songs and producing and stuff. Okay. You could look on YouTube. There's one video from... That's also... A whole podcast could be dedicated to that band and that whole story with the band. It was so...
What is it
just
called?
Ridiculous. AJ Pitt.
AJ
Pitt. AJ Pitt. So you can see one of the songs... on YouTube. It's called, what is it called? How We Do, I think? How We Do It? How We Do? I gotta look it up. But I was living with this model, this Hawaiian model, and, you know, he was just like an it guy, you know? Like a GQ kind of guy. He had like a lot of friends. He was like a Hollywood kind of guy.
Yeah.
And he was a model, and he had, you know, big modeling jobs and lots of money. And he was friends with a guy who's now called Boys Noise. Do you know that guy? DJ. No. He's a DJ from Hamburg, huge techno DJ now.
Yeah.
Boys Noise. But at the time, he was called Kid Alex. So he was doing like this kind of techno band, like a live electronic rock and roll band. And so my friend who's the model, his name is Kimo, he was the singer of Kid Alex.
Yeah.
And, you know, Boys Noise, he's like pretty genius with the production. He's pretty like, I mean, obviously he's huge. He's like one of the biggest techno DJs in the world. And so they got a deal with Universal and all this shit, but they ended up kicking Kimo out because he's just kind of like he's kind of a fuck up, you know? Like he's a good looking guy, but he just doesn't want to work, and he's not like ultra talented, you know? His talent lies in just being in the right place at the right time, you know? So the label was like, nah, we don't want this singer. We want like, you know, they wanted Boys Noise to be the front of the band.
Yeah.
Boys Noise was like, he's kind of like a producer type. That's why he ended up just being a DJ, because he was like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
So anyway, I lived with that model guy, and so he wanted to start a new band. I started a band with him. I wrote all the songs. He got these other dudes to produce it. So we worked in the studio, and it was going well. And then, you know, we had an agent, we had a booking agent, and we were like opening for big acts like Rat Tat Tat and Lady Hawk and like just big alternative bands. And yeah, it was going well, and he was going to put the record out, and we were probably going to do festivals. I mean, it was a huge agency that was like repping us. So I was like, all right, this is it. I'm just going to be doing this, which is fine. I mean, I didn't like the music. I didn't love the music. It wasn't like, you know, it was more like functional. It'd be like working on a show you didn't like. You know, I'm on this comedy show I don't like. It's pretty cheesy, but it's money. So I was cool with it. But then one day, you know, just things weren't going well for the model guy, and, you know, he was just doing drugs and just his ego is very fragile, so he quit. Anyway, that's a long story.
So he quit and the band ended.
One day he just emailed us and he was like, I don't like the way things are going. It wasn't going fast enough for him, you know? Like the agent, it was, we had gone 1 year and we had opened up for all these great bands, but we hadn't put a record out yet. We hadn't got a deal yet. And he wanted to really do festivals. And he was really pissed off that the agent didn't give us festivals that year. So we're sitting like in a meeting, and it was like, you know, we didn't do festivals that summer. So it was September, and we were sitting in the meeting with the guy, and we were reassessing what we were going to do. And I mean, this guy owned the agency. So the guy who repped us owned the agency.
Yeah.
And he had like 20 booking agents working for him. So we had the guy who owned the agency because the singer was friends with him, quote unquote.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the kind of guy he was. He had fucking powerful friends.
And then the singer quit.
Yeah, because the singer, we're sitting in the meeting, and the guy who owns the agency,
yeah,
by the way, who booked Justin Timberlake
yeah,
and Amy Winehouse and Michael Jackson when he was alive.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And Amy Winehouse when she was alive. So that guy was in the meeting, and he was like, look, next year, I'm going to put your record out in February. I'm going to put you on tour in October with this band Das Pop. You're going to do 2 months of touring around Europe. Then in February, I'm going to put your record out. I'm going to put you on your own tour in February. And next summer, I'll blast you on the festival scene.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah. But it wasn't quick enough.
No, it wasn't quick enough. And the next day he quit via email. He just emailed us. Yeah, I'm not into this anymore. I quit. It's not fast enough. All this shit. And I was like already doing stand-up at that time. So I was like, fine with me, because I want to do what I love. I don't want to like make you famous, you know? I don't want to do this thing. I mean, I liked it, but it just felt a little bit like selling out, you know? It felt a little bit like making cheesy pop stadium.
So it was pop, not punk.
It's not punk at all. It's like rock. It's like indie rock.
Yeah.
Like the Strokes. Not the Strokes, because they're like a pretty good band, but more like I don't even want to mention any names. It's like the Hives or something like that. You know what I mean? You know, Green Day or something like, it was like stadium pop. I mean, you'll hear it. It's like very like produced, and, you know, the lyrics are like, you know, only going to be like, you know, catchy, and, you know, it was all about trying to get the young girls and the young people, you know, the safe sell telephones type of money. It was a money making scheme.
Yeah, so it was like a rock boy band.
It was like a rock boy band, but,
Yeah.
you know, we were adults, unfortunately. I mean, if we were younger, it would have, like, popped super. If he was young, it would have popped. I still think those songs that I wrote, I still have them. We never put them out. I still have them. I still think those songs that we wrote, I still think I could sell those songs. If there was, like, a boy band in L.A., I could go in and just sell them.
Are you going to do it?
I mean, I would. Do you know anybody? You know, I don't know anybody, so.
Well, I know Chaco, the Finnish guy. He's a music producer.
All right, well, if he needs songs, I've got a few songs.
He has done something for Backstreet Boys.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I got rock and roll songs for rock bands, pop. I got about 5 songs I got a couple that are really, I think, are actual pretty big hits.
That's good.
Yeah.
Let's sell them.
Let's do it.
But you did really pretty well in stand-up in Europe.
Yeah. Once I started the stand-up, that was the thing. So that radio guy told me to start the stand-up show. I remember we were sitting there eating ice cream, and he was like, yeah, you should do stand-up. You should do comedy. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. How do I do it? And then he said, okay, you got any friends with bars? Do you know anybody that owns a bar? And ironically, I did. So I was like, yeah, I have one friend. He owns a bar. And he goes, okay, just ask your friend if you could do a show at his bar, and then, you know, set up chairs, maybe 30 chairs and a microphone, and then tell 7 stories. That'll be a show. 7 stories. I mean, you've got great stories. If you could do 7 stories, that's a comedy show. And I go, all right, I'm going to do it. And then we picked a date. I think it was probably summertime at that point, you know. We picked a date. And I remember I did my first show August 2nd, whatever. It'll be 8 years this August, so whatever that is. 2000 whatever. And and then I shit my fucking pants for a month and a half. And I remember I like called my friend. I was like, yo man, can I do a comedy show in your bar? And he goes, I guess. What's it gonna be? And I go, I don't know. I'm gonna tell some stories. And he goes, all right. I mean, you're not going to charge any money, are you? And I go, yeah, I'm going to charge €3 because if I'm going to bomb, then I just think people should pay for it, you know? And also, if I bomb, it's worth €3. They're going to have a good time watching me fucking bomb. It's going to be hilarious. So I don't want to do it for free because then people will come and I'll bomb and I'll feel like shit and they'll get enjoyment out of watching me bomb and I won't even get anything out of it. And he's like, all right. I mean, do whatever you want, but no one's going to come. I'm pretty sure no one's going to come. For €3, no one's going to come. And then, yeah, like kind of crazy shit happened, like a weird, like things lined up. First off, Facebook was so much newer, especially in Europe. People were just getting on Facebook.
Yeah.
And it was like at that time where, I don't know if you remember, like you could post pictures, but you couldn't, there was no events. There was no fan pages. Everybody was still pretty much on MySpace for the commercial stuff.
Yeah.
Like, hey, check out my band on MySpace. It was all about MySpace.
Yeah.
And then Facebook was like more personal. So people were like, oh, I like Facebook because it's like no one's trying to sell me anything. It's more personal. So I made a little flyer and I posted it on Facebook. And then somehow, like without me knowing it, everybody was taking my photo and posting it on their Facebooks. Like all my friends were like, whoa, this guy's really funny and he's doing a comedy show. What the fuck is this? And Berlin used to love that. I don't know if they still do, but like the people of Berlin used to love secret shit. Like if there was a party and you couldn't find it, that was the best party in the world. Like they wanted to go to weird places. I mean, the internet kind of ruined Berlin because now you could just map. Oh, Google Maps says it's around this corner in this alley. But before it was like really hard to find places. You had to know people. You had to knock on doors. You had to go back and climb this fence. And so my comedy show kind of fit that. It was like nobody knew what it was.
And it was a solo show?
It was a solo show, yeah.
Just that talking or videos?
Well, at first I didn't know what it was. It was going to be 7 stories, you know.
Yeah.
I'd already made the flyer and picked the date before I knew really what it was going to be. I just had this I remember I had this piece of cardboard at my house, and I was writing down things that I thought were funny, you know.
Yeah.
Like I can't even remember what they were, but I was like writing stuff down, like just 2 words, you know. Like, Skype or whatever, you know, email, I don't know. And then I had a friend visiting me from New York he's like a filmmaker. He's a photographer, filmmaker, works in movies and stuff like that. And I was like, dude, we got to make some short films, you know, we got to make some little videos because I don't know what this is going to be like. And if I start to fucking bomb really hard, I want to have some kind of videos to show. And I was really into Chappelle Show at the time. So I was like, yeah, let's just do some like funny Chappelle Show skits. So I made one that was like a riff on those European late night sex phone lines.
Oh yeah, on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I made one, and they were all, obviously everyone in Germany and Berlin, everyone knows them because every night they're on. So I made one that was like me in my bedroom, and I was like, hey, I'm motherfucking David Deery, and this is my sex line. I'm David Deery, call me. I'm going to get naked for you on the phone. It's sexy. And then there was like, at first it was like me in like, I think my underwear and a t-shirt. And then like the very next shot is me buck naked on my couch, just spread eagle, and then like a little tiny blur over my dick. But I was naked. I was like full on naked. And then I'm like bending over, like spreading my butt cheeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like wild. So, and yeah, that one got like a great reaction. It was really funny. And the other one I made was like a riff on Girls Gone Wild. Do you remember that DVD series,
Yeah.
Girls Gone Wild? Yeah. So I made one called Heavy Metal Gone Wild, where it's like, do you love to watch guys banging their head, listening to metal? Yeah, now you can all day long with Heavy Metal Gone Wild. And like I had all these metal riffs, and then I had this wig that I cut into a mullet. And I was just like banging my head. There was like, I just put like this music on, like, and I had to like bang my head, like, I was just banging my head everywhere. And it was just like a 30-second video, order now, Heavy Metal Gone Wild. Yeah, baby, you like to watch a guy headbang in a supermarket? Yeah, you do. Fuck yeah, Heavy Metal Gone Wild. Yeah. So that was cool. But the best thing that I did that turned out to be such a mistake, but also one of the funniest fucking things in the world was because, okay, so everyone in Berlin was always late to things. So what I did was on the flyer, I said, show starts at 9 p.m. sharp. Please don't be late. That was like on the flyer, right? So my idea was what I would do is I knew that people would still be late. So what I was going to do was like, you know how you go to like an art opening and there's like a video installation where you could just watch it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like in the background and it's like cool art. You like look at it and then you like kind of like talk to your friend, drink, and then you kind of like watch it. I was going to do something like that. I was going to do this like 30 to 40 minute video where it starts at 9 and then it's real time me getting ready for the show. You know, like I'm doing push-ups and I'm taking a shower, but in real time. It's all just like, you know, if the shower's 15 minutes, it's a 15-minute part of the movie.
Yeah.
So I take a shower, I do some push-ups, I brush my teeth, I shave, I get dressed, and then I leave my house and I walk to the bar, which was about literally a 15 or 20-minute walk.
Yeah.
And it's real time. The camera follows me. And then when I get to the bar, I was going to in the video, when I get to the bar, I look into the camera and I go, ladies and gentlemen, it's the motherfucking David Deery show. And then the screen goes to the logo and the music comes on. And like in the video, I pull the door open. And then in real life, I pull the door open and I walk into the bar. And then the show starts, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool. Yeah, and I just kind of thought while the video's playing and I'm shaving and showering, everyone's just going to be like hanging out, getting there. People are going to be late, get some drinks, stand around and wait. And then when I open the door in the video, people will notice maybe on the video or not or whatever. So what happened was, in some kind of weird fluke, you know, I'm at home with my friend Chris, rendering the DVD. And I get this text message from the girl working the door, my friend, Teresa, texts me and she says, there's like 100 people here right now. Where the fuck are you? And I texted back, haha, very funny. Because when I set up the room, and my friend who owned the bar was like, how many people do you think you're going to get? And I was like, I think I'm going to get about 35. That's my goal. That would be a sellout for me. I'd be so psyched to get 35. And he goes, nah, no way. I don't think so. I go, I think so. I kind of feel like some people have been talking about it. I mean, I know I'll get at least 5 or 10 for sure. So I think they'll bring friends, right? And so she texts me, there's 100 people here. Where the fuck are you? And I write back, haha. And she goes, dead serious. And then my phone rings. And I'm like, what's up? And she's like, I'm not even kidding. The room is absolutely fucking packed. There's people standing in the back. Where are you? Everyone's like asking where you are. It said the show starts at 9 o'clock. It was 9 o'clock, you know, and it's Germany. And everyone was like, okay, we go there on time when you say on time. And so I'm like, oh my God. So fucking Chris burns the DVD. He runs out the door, goes to the place. He puts the DVD in. I didn't even have time to be nervous or anything. But what I realized is when I get there is everyone is sitting and watching the movie.
Yeah.
Like totally in awe of the film, like it's a real film, you know. They're watching like my short film, just sitting there like watching it. And I remember like afterwards, my friend told me she was there with this rapper Defari, who's like a pretty big West Coast rapper, and and he looks at her and he goes, what the fuck is going on, man? And she goes, I don't know, but this guy, he's really, really funny. So I'm pretty sure something funny is going to happen. Just keep watching. And it was like a 40-minute video of me showering and shaving and nothing happened.
Nothing being funny.
Nothing happened at all, which in the end of the day turns out to actually be one of the fucking funniest things of all time.
Yeah.
I trolled the shit out of them. The very first thing I did turned out to be pretty fucking genius.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. You should publish that.
I don't know where it is, actually. I the guy that made the video, I'm not friends with anymore because, you know, there's another long story there where, like, you know, we went on to do something like 20 shows together, all in the same format. We made videos. We did original, you know, kind of stand-up stories and stand-up content for a couple years. And, I mean, we did great shows. And we plan on making it like its own thing and like touring the shows around and trying to like do them in other cities and other places, which unfortunately we never got to do. But it just became like a, one of those classic Hollywood, scenarios where it's like, who's in control? Whose show is it? He was jealous.
And it was a good show, and then it stopped there.
Well, I kept going, on my own, but it was better with him, for sure. It would have been much better with him.
Yeah.
Because he's a great filmmaker. He's a great director. I mean, if you see some of the old videos, which I have on a hard drive, I mean, I could definitely show you some of the old videos we had. I mean, there were some super good videos that we made, like really, really funny stuff, characters, and I mean, for what we were doing at the time, I'd say it was like very, very high level. It easily could have taken off.
Yeah. Is he still doing videos?
He owns a coffee place, a roastery now in Berlin, so I think he's like pretty busy.
I'd like to talk about the LA a little bit. So
Yeah.
why did you come here from Berlin?
When?
Why?
Oh, why?
When and
well,
why?
I wanted to try to take it to the next level. I mean, the problem with Germany is, like I said, I think that show easily could have taken off if Germany was more receptive to English. It's not. It really isn't. Like, especially on an industry level, because like I said, like even that video I made, like some of the things that I did, like really should have been bigger than they were. I mean, even I was on that show Night Wash in Germany.
I watched one stand-up thing in Germany.
Yeah. Was it Night Wash?
Yeah, and you said like fuck you.
Oh yeah, that one's okay. But if you watch the one Mitfahrgelegenheiten, that like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I didn't. Yeah. Anyway, if you watch the one that I was on, I mean that one was okay. It was okay. When I say fuck you, I mean they don't really get that kind of humor, so it wasn't really probably my best set, but.
I think you talked a lot about Germany, and I think they liked it a lot.
Yeah, but on the first one I was on, I talked a lot only about Germany, and it was like such a good bit. Even if I say so myself, it was just like, and it just didn't get what I feel like it deserved.
Yeah.
I mean, if that was,
it was on TV.
It was on TV
Yeah.
and it was on the internet, but then it's like the way Germany works. It's just like there's just people just didn't respond to it because it was in English, and yeah, it's interesting because like there was a girl on the same show as me who's like very good looking, and she's Turkish, and she doesn't even really do stand up.
Yeah,
she just kind of talks about her family and
German.
her shit in German.
Yeah.
But she's a foreigner,
Yeah.
So her shit fucking blew up and took off, And it's just like a weird thing where it's just like I just didn't want to like stay in Germany and like fight uphill against like an industry that didn't want me, and I feel like I would have done it. I would have been like a cult classic hero, if somebody would have like embraced me.
Yeah.
Anybody. I mean, it was lucky to even get on that TV show because the original host of that TV show, the guy who created that TV show, saw me, and he's like, no, I won't put you on the show. Not even, you can be on TV, or you can just be online, or you can just be on the show.
Yeah.
For live. And he wouldn't even put me on the show.
Because
he wanted me to do it in German. He was like, you should do it in German. You'd be so much more famous if you did it in German.
Yeah. Did you do anything in German?
No. Because I don't want to,
Yeah.
That's the whole point. It's like, I don't want to be famous. I want to be good at what I do. And the best opportunity for that is in my own language.
So then you decided to...
Well, I decided to just try something else. And I mean, I was like sick of Germany, and I peaked out there. I did it all. I was on TV. I had done big shows. I had done my own show in other cities. I had, done all the English-speaking shows. I toured Europe.
Yeah.
I did all the English-speaking stuff in Europe. And, there wasn't that much money there. And more importantly, there just wasn't a higher level, Like the thing that I did in Finland, that's pretty much as far as I'm going to get in Finland. Maybe I could do that again 2-3 times, but it's not like it's not like there's TV people in Finland that are going to come see me and be like, oh, yeah, we need to have that guy. So I just needed something. I wanted to try to get to another level. And LA turned out to be, ideally the best opportunity for me. I could have gone to London. I could have gone to New York. I could go to LA, or I could go to some like underground city in America, like, Austin or Portland or Seattle or Philadelphia or something like that, Chicago, and try to like...
Can you tell us a little bit about the scene? I mean, I know it because I've been touring the open mics, but like for someone who hasn't toured the open mics here, buckets.
Yeah, I mean, it's like interesting. It's huge. It's huge. There's so much comedy, and there's so many angles of comedy and levels. It's like a layer cake, you know.
Yeah, because there's the best people, Louis C.K.'s and all that.
Yeah.
You can see them
Yeah.
many nights a week.
Oh,
Bill
you can
Burr.
see the best comics in the world a lot of times for free any night of the week. Any night of the week, there's great comics and great shows. Any night of the week, there's like really, really, really good comics. Any night of the week, there's good comics that no one knows. I mean, there's every layer. There really is. There's so much comedy right now. There's improv comedy. There's actors and writers workshops. You know, there's guys like Dan Harmon doing live podcasts every week. There's Doug Benson doing live podcasts every week.
Kevin Smith.
Yeah, Kevin Smith doing live podcasts once a month. There's so many things like that where you're like, I mean, and that's a good thing. I kind of like that because, you know, there's such an opportunity here to just be yourself and do your own thing, you know? There's guys like Vic Berger, you know, and Tim and Eric Andre that do like weird, you know, like Vic Berger. If you don't know Vic Berger, he's one of the most incredible internet, you know, video makers that's out right now. And he does all the super deluxe stuff, and he just re-edits interviews and Donald Trump and all these people to look weird.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you ever saw. Like,
No, I haven't.
There's one called Steve Harvey Doesn't Want to Host Family Feud Anymore.
Yeah.
And he just takes all these Steve Harvey clips and he makes it look like Steve Harvey's having a meltdown, you know? And it's just edited so flawlessly that it looks real, you know? And he'll take Donald Trump, you know, speeches and make it look like he's just saying like really weird shit, and it looks awesome. And he like moves the camera around and like adds in noises and like, you know, silence, and it's so incredible, you know? And that's just like to me, that's like a new wave of comedy, you know? Like what could that, he must get offers to do so much work, you know? I can imagine.
But currently he's just on YouTube.
I have no idea what he does in his real life, but yeah, I see him on YouTube and Twitter.
Does he perform live?
I don't know. He might. I've
Yeah.
never seen him, but I mean, I saw Tim Heidecker one time from Tim and Eric, and he was so fucking funny.
Yeah.
But he wasn't doing stand up. He was on like more like a panel show. They were like live tweeting the Democratic debate when that was happening.
Yeah.
And he was on that panel where they were like showing the debate on a screen, and then in the side screen they had everyone's Twitter feed. So everyone was like tweeting things while the debate was happening. That was really fun.
Yeah.
And then they would also like kind of interrupt the debate once in a while to like say stuff. And then after the debate, actually they were like kind of on a delay. So they would like pause the debate, and then they would have like a little like 5-minute rant about stuff. And he was so fucking funny.
Yeah.
He was like one of the best.
And where do you see yourself in them? We talked about this already earlier. But like, what kind of shows do you do now, and what kind of shows you want to do? You want to do Death Squad, yeah.
Yeah, I do bar, like, the best things I get now are, like, I do bar shows a lot, which are interesting, which is still mostly, like, comics, but there's always some, like, regulars at the bar. I mean, they can have audience members. You never know what's going to happen at those shows. But I also do
But this is interesting when I came here, that most of the open mic shows, there's just comics in the audience.
Only comics. Yeah, because there's so many shows. I mean, why would you go to an open mic? Unless you're just like a freak and you like, I love comedy so much, I want to see like where it starts. It's the only reason to go to open mics, you know?
Do you think the producers even promote them? The guys who run the open mics?
I don't know. I mean, well, who would you promote them to?
Yeah.
Because if you like comedy, like let's say I have friends who like comedy, right? Why would I fucking promote an open mic to them?
Yeah. If you can see someone
Yeah.
in the comedy stuff.
Hey, you like comedy, right? Hey, I could either get you a free ticket to the Comedy Store or wait for it. I could send you to the most depressing thing you've ever seen. I mean, they do. They're less entertaining than AA meetings, you know? There's only one open mic that I think is decent in terms of watching it. And it's such a fuck-up meltdown. It's so ridiculously bad that it's good. And that's the Show Up, Go Up at the Comedy Store on Sunday nights.
Okay, what's that?
I like watching it. You've never been to the show I've gone?
I've been a couple of times, but
Right, you want the people to know.
So someone runs it, and you can send Twitter stuff.
Oh, there's all kinds of shit. It's like
Yeah.
it's just like
Open mic bingo.
It's a wacky open mic where it's obviously only comics, but it's like it's like a cult, almost like a cult following. The guy who hosts it is just like a maniac. Sometimes he's super drunk. Sometimes he's angry. You don't know why. Sometimes he's in a great mood. And, you know, he's random as fuck with how he runs it. You know, there's a bucket you could pull names from. There's a bucket, you could get a receipt from the bar and put your name on a receipt. You could text him something funny, and every once in a while he'll read all the texts, and every once in a while he'll just pick a really funny text and be like, all right, you're up here. Who sent me that text? Get up here and get 3 minutes of time. You could, there's bingo, where they give you cards and it's like you fill out the bingo according to like what's happening. Like comic talks about his mother, comic says the word faggot, you know, and like you mark off all the bingo spots, and if you get a bingo, you get to go up and perform.
Yeah.
There's so many things, and also it's just the way that mic is. It's no nonsense, you know. It's just, I don't know. It's a ruckus.
Yeah, and people are having fun.
People are having fun, yeah.
Yeah.
People are having fun being sad and depressed and not famous, and I love that.
But
really
all the
fun.
other, like, there's like almost 5 to 10 open mics per night.
Easy, yeah, easy.
Per every night.
Every single night. Yeah, and most of them are just sad, and everybody just wants to make it so bad in this town, and there's no self-reflection in this town, you know? There's no self-awareness in this town. Everyone's like, why can't I get what that guy has?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, because you fucking suck. How about that to start with?
And how long do these people, me, go around those open mics? How many years?
Dude, it's every man for himself. Who knows? That's the thing about entertainment in general. There is no fucking equation, bro.
Yeah.
I could show you every story you've ever could imagine in your life, you know? I have a friend who was on Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
I have a friend, he was on Johnny Carson, he was on David Letterman doing stand-up 10 times. He kills. He won Star Search back in the day.
Yeah.
He's headlined almost every club you could imagine, and he can't get gigs out here. Because he's old or because he's quirky. You know? He doesn't like to ask people for things, and he doesn't have the best agent or whatever it is. I don't know what it is. But he doesn't follow through, or he doesn't follow up, or he just hasn't developed into the next level of being. He never got, he never hit like a role, you know. He never like locked in, you know, because you headline clubs, but that's just money right there. It's not going to last you forever, you know. You do Letterman, you get a one-time fee. It's a good fee, but you're going to spend that money. You know, and if you can't, if you get to a point eventually where like you can't keep getting those gigs and you can't get a television deal or you can't sell a script or he didn't want to write for other people.
Yeah.
That was, I think, the key for him if I had to fit one in, because he was on the same kind of trajectory as like Larry David, probably even bigger and better than those guys, you know? Yeah. And maybe that's what kind of fucked him in the end, was that he had too much stand-up credibility that he didn't want to write for other people, but not enough stand-up credibility that he like got his own TV show for himself or his own movie for himself. And I don't think he wrote any films for himself to pitch.
Yeah. I don't think there's necessarily room for all of these people.
Right.
I mean, there's so many talented people who are just not gonna get the shot, or the shot is not gonna work.
That's what I mean. There's so many people that are just gonna like, you know, fade away into nothingness. And you know, how long do people do those open mics? Who knows? I mean, look at some of the guys that, you know, I'm doing the show about. You know, they've been doing
Buckets show that we've been working together.
Yeah, we're working on a show together called Buckets. It's probably gonna be an online thing. You know, that's fine with me. But it's just to showcase these kind of the kings of the open mics. You know, there's guys that just they're not going to get beyond that. I mean, they might. You never know. Like Jared is talented if the right person like molded him into something. You know, like when he says he wants to be the Mountain Dew guy. You know, there's like a wacky comic that's always at open mics all the time. Been doing it for years. Always on open mics. I've never seen him on a real show, but he's always on open mics. And he's just a wacko, and he's funny. I think he's funny, but he's just wacky. But when he says he wants to be the Mountain Dew guy and that's his goal and dream, I mean, I could see that. You know, I could see that if the right people at Mountain Dew like really got to know him and trusted him and said, okay, Jared, this is what we need from you. Can you do that? And him being like, yep, I can do that. All you got to do is show up. But yeah, who knows if he can show up on time.
What's your relationship to this? I mean, how long are you going to be doing this?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to be doing something forever, I guess. I mean, I do a lot of things.
Because
I wrote a novel.
Yeah.
I draw. I wrote a novel. I make zines. I make books. I cook. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't care either.
Could you work in that pizza place for...
No, I won't work in the pizza place. I'd open my own shop before I worked in that pizza place forever. I mean, I don't need... I have the knowledge and the skill to do my own thing. And that's one thing that I'll just do my own thing, I'm not going to worry about getting booked at the Comedy Store. I want to do it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I would love to be a paid regular at the Comedy Store and see my name in lights on the biggest clubs in the world. But that's, to me, I could also be the guy that just does his own thing. I could be the Vic Berger,
Yeah, because I think you have all the skills and you do so much. So I'm curious what's going to take off.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, in a realistic way, I do think I'm good. And I mean, I think that I especially now have like a great 20-minute set, 15-minute set that just goes off. But I'm 43 years old, and I think that's kind of like an issue. Because if
I'm 37, yeah.
If any agent sees me, they think, oh, cool. But by the time I get this guy known in the world, he's going to be 50, And 50's fine if you're you've been doing it for super long and you're kind of at that point and you're ready to rock, But just come out, hey, check out his first 10-minute spot on Comedy Central. This guy's 50. It just doesn't really ring with this industry, For me, it's fine, obviously. I don't mind because I started late and I've done other things and I can do lots of things, But, I've got to be realistic about what this industry wants to do, and this industry wants to build up young people, and rightfully so, because they want to collect a check for 30 years. I'm going to be dead in 30 years probably. Could be.
So what's going to happen?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know or care.
Yeah, you don't need to know either.
Yeah, I don't have any. I mean, anything I've ever done in my life has come exactly how I started comedy is exactly how I'm going to finish comedy. I don't care. If you said to me today, hey, you know what you should do? And it was a pretty funny idea and I liked it, I would say, you know what? I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Because, there's one thing in any art and even in life that really I focus on. There's one life mantra that I use, and that's what got you there will keep you there. And what got me to this point in comedy was just being myself and having no expectations. And that's going to keep me there. So, I'm not going to melt down because the Comedy Store doesn't put me up, even though I'm funnier than a lot of people that they do put up.
I know.
And that's being arrogant, but it's also just being realistic, I don't have any qualms saying that comedy is finicky. Sometimes they'd rather put up a woman who's not as funny as a man because there's already 6 men up that are super funny, So and that's not even a jab at women in comedy because there's super funny women as well. But I'm just saying it's a jab at the industry for needing to be diverse. They need to be diverse. Yeah. They have to at all costs. And even if it costs them 10 minutes of funny, they're like, okay, well, she's good enough and she's a woman and we need that, So I'm a straight white male and, I'm the enemy in a sense. So I have to fight that as well. I mean, I don't even mind because I think comedy should be diverse. I'm not saying it sounds bad when I say it, but it is when you are the guy, if you're applying for a university and that they need to take a certain amount of people, if you're applying to law school and you're a white dude and that they have to take a certain amount of minorities and a certain amount of women, you're going to be bummed out because you're probably not going to make it. You're up against harder,
Yeah.
If you're a Korean-born, immigrant, adopted woman, obviously with a great grade point average that's rocking, they need that.
Yeah.
They need that. Everyone needs to fill this checklist, and then they should. It's a weird thing, right? Because it sounds like what I'm saying is fuck those bitches, put me up.
No,
I'm not saying that. But I am saying, like, you know, if it's about funny, just don't sacrifice the funny. You can get diverse and funny.
Yeah.
Do
Well,
that.
you have the most difficult odds with the white American.
I mean,
males
I don't
here.
know. Maybe not. It sounds like white genocide, but maybe I don't. Maybe it is actually harder for those people. Maybe it's harder for a gay person to get on comedy because, you know, they face more discrimination than I do.
Yeah.
So I could face a little bit of discrimination. It's not that bad.
How about? Do you want to talk about the quitting thing? You had this quitting Facebook.
Sure, I'll
thing.
talk about that.
Well,
yeah,
Because I didn't know. Was it a joke?
yeah,
or
it was a
for
joke.
real?
Yeah, it was a joke.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I painted a painting. You know, I paint, and you know, I painted a watercolor painting, and I really liked it. It was a really good painting. I thought I was really proud of it. And so I posted it on Facebook, and I knew that it would get a lot of likes. You know, because you can always tell. Like if I post a picture of a quiche that is like a bomb quiche,
Yeah.
people are gonna it's gonna go off. People are gonna like it.
Yeah.
So I took it a step further, and I just said, if this painting gets more than 100 likes, I'll quit comedy and apply to art school. And yeah, it got like 350 likes or something. It just went off, and it was like the comment section was insane. You know, it was like just this. It went kind of semi viral, so to speak. You know, or amongst my comic friends and my friends, and then I just thought it was so funny. You know, so I just went with it. I just kept going with it. And I can't remember what else I kept
I think you
posting.
put that like, if this gets so many likes, you're gonna quit comedy.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And then you got it.
And then I got that many likes.
Yeah.
And then I started like kind of complaining that about comedy. I can't remember exactly how it escalated. It kept going. There was like 4 or 5 posts.
Okay, but it wasn't that real thing because it seemed really real.
No, it wasn't real at all.
Yeah.
It was completely fake. It was just like a joke on social media. Like it was just like one of those things where it's like, yeah, I know you guys are going to like this. You're not going to like my comedy. You're not going to watch my videos, but you're going to love this painting, you know?
Yeah.
It was just a way of kind of like just being sad about the reality that we live in, you know, because, you know, also agents are like, oh, yeah, you're really funny, but how many Instagram followers do you have? And how many Facebook followers do you have? And it's just like, dude, why? Why? Like, what are you doing? You know, oh, but we need somebody that has their own following. Why? That's why I want to get on TV.
Yeah.
So people know who I am and can see my comedy. I don't do the opposite. I don't do social media, so you know, it's like it's a real trap, you know, and so yeah, that it was just a commentary on social media, and you know, it was fun, and you know, some people took it seriously and some people didn't, and I rode with it for a while, and then I had this old picture of me like in like, you know, short shorts and like a headband. Remember that? Did you see that part?
No.
Because then I started being like, you know, hey, I talked to my lawyer, you know, and this is a contract, but it's not a binding contract, and all this stuff. You know, I started like making stuff up about how I didn't want to quit. You know, and
Yeah.
I didn't. You know, I would be like, oh, it's really sad. I don't want to quit. I know the painting was really good, but I don't want to quit, and I feel like I have to now. But I'm talking to a lawyer. You know, I think that was one of the things. And then eventually, I said, yeah, I talked to this lawyer, and he said if this photo of me looking stupid gets more likes than the painting, I can legally go back to doing stand-up. And hilariously enough, then there was people in the comments like, hey, everyone, go back and like the painting if you haven't liked the painting. And I swear to God, the photo of me, the one, and I also told people to go back and unlike the painting. I said, I was like literally writing people in the comments and tagging them and being like, hey, Amanda, did you like that painting? You need to go back and unlike that painting, or I can't believe you. You think I should quit comedy? You know? And people really, I don't know what they thought, but I don't know why they would think that it was serious, but, you know, it was...
I felt that there was some kind of serious undertone there.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a serious undertone. I'm frustrated with that, with trying to make it in comedy. It's really difficult. You don't get support. It's meaningless, man. It is. It's like sometimes I think about like my future, and I think, which I don't like to do, as you could tell before. But if I think of my future in comedy, it's like I have no idea. I'll do anything that I like, you know, anything. You know,
Yeah.
I want to work with people I like. Anything, writing a movie, just anything that brings me any kind of money that I like doing, that I love, or if it doesn't bring me money, like I wouldn't mind working a job, but if I love it and it gets me out there, you know. But when I think about like food, for example, there's so many ideas where I'm like, oh, I could easily just do that. Like, you know, my wife's from New Zealand. I could move to New Zealand, you know. I could, you know, try to take out a loan and buy like a small piece of land and build a garden, farm, slash stone oven, and, open up my own bakery, for example. And that's an idea that I'm like, yeah, that would work. 100% that would work. And even if I had to get a side job, like I'm doing in comedy, get a side job to try to get your dream to work. I mean, I could easily make a food thing happen and make money from it and live a career. Easily.
And be happy.
I don't know if I'd be happy. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I'd be happy, but I could do it. Just the point being, like, when it comes to entertainment and comedy, it's so hard to get people to pay attention to you, even if you're good. I don't know why. Maybe we don't need comics right now. Maybe the world doesn't need witty people. When you look at Twitter, there's like, when Donald Trump says one thing, there's the same joke a million times. Like, you could see one joke that you really like about something on Twitter, and you could Google it, and you could see 1,000 people saying the same things, So maybe we don't need that. Yet there's not a lot of people growing food right now. There's not a lot of people, believe it or not, there's not a lot of people making fresh bread. Right? I mean, I don't see bakeries all over LA.
No.
But I see comics and entertainment and actors all over LA. So I just feel like sometimes I just feel like, and again, with the whole social media thing, it's like, I'm not a social media guy. I like Twitter, but I've got 1,500 followers, So I don't know if I can make it in this industry, because this industry is so connected to social media, and they want these YouTube stars, and they want these fucking people that already sell the fucking thing for them, because they're not, a lot of these agents, just like a lot of these comics and a lot of these entertainers and a lot of these clubs, they're not really about comedy, are they? They're about money.
Yeah. And the selling food and drinks, that's the important part.
Yeah, and that's sad to me. I mean, I know there are some real people out there, and that's why I love the Death Squad, and I love Rogan, and I love Bill Burr, and I love Louis, and I love those guys that just like, hey, you know what? I mean, especially like, look at Louis. Hey, I'm going to put my special out for $5 on my own website. And all his people were like, dude, what are you doing? You're just fucking just throwing money out the window. They're going to just rip it off. One guy's going to buy it, and he's going to give it to the world for free, and you're going to make $5, and you're going to spend all your own money, and you're going to fail. And Louis just said, I don't know. I don't care. I want to do it my own way. I want it to be the way I want it to be, and I don't want to wait for HBO.
He changed the industry.
And look what happened when he did that. And that email he sent out was so genuine and so beautiful, and he's just like, hey, guys, I'm just asking you to buy it, because I put my own money into it. And it's not like, yes, I have money. Yes, I'm probably richer than you are, but I'm not the guy. I'm not Clear Channel, and I'm not a 1%er, I'm just a comic, and it's $5. He made it affordable. He made it available, and he made fucking so much money off of that. Rightfully so. I bought it 7 times. No. But
that sounded good. Anything else for now?
No, that's it, man. I don't, check me out. MF David Deery. I'm motherfucking David Deery, Again, I feel like I just talked your ear off, everyone's ear off. I can't see how anyone could be entertained by that. But, who knows? It's just me complaining about how I'm a big fat nobody.
Perfect. Thank you.
No problem. My pleasure.
So that was episode 2 with David Deery. Thank you. And we're going to continue soon. Some more episodes coming up.